Now, among the second category of the non-biodegradable polymers, silicones is another class of the non-biodegradable polymers. It is basically a synthetic polymer which have the backbone in which the repeating units of the silicones along with that of the oxygen bonds are present. You can see here that it contains the silicone bond linked with that of the oxygen bond, and it has the another things attached like the chains, carbon chain attached as the R surface, and these structures may be linear or they may be angular in nature. These are the angular in nature, means there is an angle between the oxygen molecule and the silicone molecule, as well as it may be of any other type, like it may be angular in this manner in the third stage, means there are the variability by which you can say that it could have the different kinds of the structures. Now these angles formed by these bonds can open and close like the scissors, as you can see over here in the picture that the silicone is in the linear chain structure, as well as it shows an angle with that of the oxygen molecule, and it gives an appearance of the scissor. So because of this ability of these kind of the molecules, they have the higher flexibility, means they can be easily, if the pressure is applied, then they can be stretched or they can be compressed. So if I says over here, in case of the silicone polymers, these are made up of the basic repeating units, that is the siloxane. And what is this siloxane? Means oxygen linked with that of the silicone, and silicone molecule is in the center and it is linked with that of the two ethereal linkages, and this will give it a siloxane structure. And the most common silicone derivative that is used is polydimethyl siloxane. This siloxane has a very good elastomeric properties, and it is highly flexible in nature, as I have discussed here that the bonds between the silicone atom and the two of the oxygen atoms are highly flexible in nature. Because of the flexibility of these bonds between the silicone moiety and the two of the oxygen molecule, this chain will be showing a highly flexible behavior. So the silicone polymers will show highly flexible behavior. Now, if we discuss the properties of the silicone polymer, then these polymers are thermally stable, and they usually don't decompose at a temperature above 350 to 450 degrees Celsius, as well as they are chemically, if we says about the chemical stability, means it indicates as they doesn't decompose even at the higher temperature around 450, it means they are thermally stable, means by heating, if we are heating at them low temperature, then their properties will not be deteriorated, they will maintain their property, as well as they exhibit the chemical stability, means higher polar characteristics of the silicone and oxygen bond, and their ability to expand its valency shell by utilizing the d orbital renders these polysiloxanes susceptible to attack by the several reagents. Means if we says about the thermal stability, then they are highly stable, but if we says about the chemical stability, then because of this SiO bond, means silicone moiety attached to two of the oxygen molecules, then it is more susceptible to be attacked by that of the strong bases as well as the strong acids, and these strong acids and strong bases leads to that of the breakage of these kind of the bonds, which lead to that of the depolymerization of our silicone polymers, as well as these silicone polymers are also attacked by the dry chlorine and lead to that of the chlorination of the alkyl groups. Alkyl groups are present, as we have discussed that here in the structure you can say that these R moieties are the alkyl groups, and these alkyl groups will be attacked by that of the chlorine moiety, and because of which there will be the alkylation of these silicon molecules. As well as if we consider the properties, or we are considering the properties of the silicon polymer, then for what kind of the reagents it can show the reactivity. Means the silicon bonds basically cleaved by the Grignard reagents, and they are sensible to undergo hydrolysis, as well as they will undergo hydrolysis in the presence of alcohol, and that is termed as alcohol lysis at the elevated temperature if the acids and the bases are present, and this yields the silanols and alkyl silanes. Means basically, as we are saying about the chemical stability, we are saying that they are sensitive to that of the attack by that of the strong bases as well as strong acids, which are responsible for that of the depolymerization of these silicon polymers. Now, if the silicon polymers are sensitive to that of the strong bases as well as to that of the strong acids, then at the elevated temperature they can also lead to that of the degradation if the alcohol is present or the water molecule is present along with that of the acids and bases. Means even if the acid and base is added over the surface of the silicon polymer, there will be depolymerization, and then if alcohol is also present, then it will accelerate the reaction and it will give the fragments of the silicon polymer. Now, if we says what is its property towards the water, then it is basically the oxygen atoms of the polysiloxanes adhere to that of the glass surface. So, depending upon that property, it has been considered that if these siloxane derivatives or silicon derivative polymers are coated over to the surface of the glass, then they can provide the water repellent behavior, as they are not soluble in water. So, they are also used to coat the surfaces of the glass bottles or glass containers, as well as in order to provide the tamper proof containers. These are used because they have the water repellent property. And how they behave as a water repellent, that as we have discussed, that in their structure there are the two moieties. There is a silicon and there is an oxygen molecule. Two oxygen molecule and one silicon, and these oxygen molecule will adhere towards the glass surface. Means there will be an orientation that it will form a V-shaped structure, and this V-shaped structure is going, means this silicon will be towards the outer zone, and this silicon moiety, means this silicon moiety has an attachment with this aliphatic chain of the carbon, and these are the oxygen molecule. And for example, this is a glass surface, so these oxygen molecule will bind over this glass surface, and this alkyl chain will bind to that, will be projecting towards the surface. And if this alkyne chain is towards the outside, then it will not allow the water molecule to move inside, and as a result it will be water repellent in nature. So the containers which are to be used for that of the water repellent properties, or they are to be provided the some tamper proof, then this silicon moiety will attach to these glass molecules in this manner, and it will provide them a water repellent behavior. As well as we know, these silicon derivatives are they are used as electrical insulators, so they are used for covering of that of the metallic surfaces because of their insulation property. And if we consider their behavior towards the light, then they are transparent to that of the visible light, but they have the capability that they can absorb ultraviolet light, and especially ultraviolet light, or we can say the shorter wavelength lights are absorbed by these systems, and this lead to that they can be used to protect the samples or to protect a device by coating with that of the silicone non-biodegradable polymers, as they will absorb all the UV radiation, and our device, or if I says our product is sensible to that of the UV light, then it can be avoided. Now if it is avoided by this ultraviolet light, then our product's shelf life can be increased. Now if we consider about the uses of these siloxane polymers, so it is used to prepare the silicone rubber, it is used as an insulator, it is used as the silicone fluids in the hydraulic transformers, damping liquids, diffusion pump fluids, as well as it is used as a release agents for the photocopiers and the laser printers. It is also used as a silicone grease, and it is used for the purpose of lubrication for making the waterproof clothes, as well as papers for making the paint as well as enamel also. So siloxanes are not only used in the drug delivery systems, they have the wider applications in the variety of the industries, as well as they are used in these rubbers, these insulators, and all these things used to be the part of the devices which are used in the pharmaceutical fields. Then the first siloxane derivative which is of great importance is polydimethyl siloxanes. It is the simplest member of the silicone polymer family, and it is basically formed by hydrolysis of Me2SiCl2, and this produces the high purity silicone, and it will be leaving the residues like methylene chloride by the Muller-Rochow reaction. Means it is the Muller-Rochow reaction which lead to that of the hydrolysis of the silicone chloride, and it will yield the polydimethyl siloxane, and it exhibits in variety of the grades, and those grades which have the lower molecular weight are liquid in nature at the room temperature, whereas those polydimethyl siloxanes which have the higher molecular weight are soft compliant rubbers, or they seems to be resinous structures. So in this way we can say that the polydimethyl siloxanes of low molecular weight will exhibit in a liquid state, whereas high molecular weight will be in the form of the rubber or resin or in a soft semi-solid structures. And they have the certain physical characteristics like they are colorless and the viscous liquid of melting point, that is -40 degrees Celsius. They have the smooth and frictionless texture, means they doesn't generate the friction when a certain thing is flowing over the surface or they are gliding over the another surface. So they don't generate the friction, as well as they will not generate the electric charge over their surface. And they have the good rheological flow property, means we are saying that if they are liquid then they will be showing good rheological flow property, and they have the boiling point, that is 155 to 220 degrees Celsius, whereas their density is 0.971, and it will be then vapor pressure at 5 mm Hg is and 20 degrees Celsius, as well as they have the refractive index of 1.4035. If we are going towards the chemical properties of these molecules, then the chemical properties indicate that they are insoluble in water as well as insoluble in ethanol. However, they exhibit the solubility in carbon tetrachloride, benzene, chloroform, dimethyl ether, toluene and other organic solvents. However, because of their good characteristic property, like they are inert in nature, so they are used with most of the preparations as a part of the container enclosure, and they are non-inflammable in nature, and but as we have said, they are insoluble in water as well as in ethanol because they have the water repellent properties. So because of the water repellent properties, they are not used into that of the because of the water repellent properties, they are used for storing of the preparations in the glass, and they exhibit the inert property, non-inflammability, as well as they exhibit the solubility in the aliphatic hydrocarbon solvents. It indicates that they have the hydrophobic behavior, and because of that hydrophobic behavior means they contain the long carbon chain structures, and the presence of the long chain carbon structures provide the hydrocarbon behavior to them, and they are soluble in the hydrocarbon solvents. If we are considering its applications, then they are commonly used as the anti-foaming agents, means those preparations where the high foam is generated, then in order to reduce, or we can say in order to prevent the foaming, if the foaming lead to that of the encapsulation of the air molecules which can deteriorate the we can say stability of the product, then the anti-foaming agents are required. So at that moment of the time, silicone polymers can be utilized as an anti-foaming agents. They are also used as the stamp resin in the procedure of the soft lithography, and they are basically also used in order to prepare the microfluidic chips that are used for the controlling the flow. In cosmetics, they have also found the use, as well as consumer industry. For example, they are used to remove the lice on the scalp, means if someone has an infection of the lice in their hairs, means in the hand, then they can be used. Silicone oils are used, silicone polymers are used, they are applied onto that of the scalp, and they lead to that of the death of the lice, and then this scalp of the individual infected with the lice can be treated. As well as they are used as the filler fluid in the breast implants. They are used in the lice or the flea treatments because of their ability to trap the insects. They are also used as the surfactant, carminative in various products such as medical devices, food products and lubricants. And they are also used in the health and the beauty products, like they are used in the shampoo, conditioners, they are used in the detangling products. For example, Livon is using the silicone polymers, and they provides the softening of the hair by forming a thin layer over the surface of the hair and provides the smoothness. So the hair serum as well as the conditioners and the product like Livon, they are usually using the silicone polymers in order to provide the smoothness to the surfaces, as well as to reduce, as we have also discussed, that they don't generate the friction, and because of this ability, as they don't generate the friction, they reduces the friction, and as they reduces the friction, they can be of great use. So in this way we can say they have the multitude of the application. Next category of the classes of the non-biodegradable polymers is the poloxomers, and these poloxomers are also termed as the pluronics. These are the synthetic triblock copolymers. All the poloxomers have the chemical structure. These have the chemical structures, and they have the different chemical structures. Means poloxomer is a class And in this class, variety of the poloxomers are available, and depending upon their molecular weight, they can be categorized, even though the chemical structure, means the basic units in the chemical structure will remain the same, but they will be different in their attachment of the molecules. For example, since the polymers are made up of the monomeric units, these poloxomers are copolymers of the hydrophilic polyethylene oxide block copolymer and hydrophobic polypropylene oxide block copolymer. And the different molecular weight PEO block copolymer and different molecular weight hydrophobic PPO block copolymer, when joined together, then they form the different kind of the poloxamer. For example, if I say that PEO block copolymer has the 100 molecular weight is 100, whereas PPO block copolymer has the molecular weight that is 200, for example, then they will unite together and they will as an additive, the molecular weight of the polymer will be 300. And if the monomeric units, here the monomeric units are PEO block copolymer, polyethylene oxide block copolymer, and it's polypropylene oxide block copolymer. If they unite together, and if in one case it was 100 and 100, and in another case one unit was 200 having the molecular weight of 200, whereas the another unit was having a molecular weight of 150, then the poloxamer that will be formed will be having the molecular weight of 350. So the poloxamer have the same chemical structure, but the difference is in the linkage of the different kinds of the fractional units, and the difference in this fractional unit lead to the generation of a different kind of the poloxamers. So in pharmaceutical industry, the commonly used poloxamers are poloxamer 188, and this poloxamer 188 has a composition, that is, it contains a block copolymer, that is hydrophilic P polyethylene oxide 80, means it will be having the 80 units of the polyethylene oxide block copolymers have been united together to form this PEO block copolymer, whereas PPO means 27 units of the PPO block copolymer will unite together, and it will yield a poloxamer 188, which have the molecular weight ranging from 7680 to 9510 daltons, whereas poloxamer 407 is composed of the 101 units of A block copolymer and 56 units of the B copolymer, and it will yield the poloxamer having a molecular weight that is in the range of 9840 to 14600 daltons. And these poloxamers are termed as the functional excipients, means they have certain properties also. The poloxamers like poloxamer 407 has been reported as to exhibit some of the anti-hyperlipidemic activity, as well as they also have the capability to inhibit the P efflux mechanism in our body. So they are used as a part of the anti-cancer therapy, means in order to develop the carrier systems for the anti-cancer drugs. They are used because as an excipient they have the surface active properties, and they are facilitating the good encapsulation of the drug molecule, as well as they have the additive property that they inhibit the P efflux proteins, and because of which they prevent the ejection of the drug molecules from the core of the targeted cell to outside. So as they are inhibiting the efflux process, they facilitates the accumulation of the drugs. So they are termed as the functional excipients, and they are the essential components in the formulation, and they plays an important role in development of the formulations because of their surface active properties. And these are the certain physicochemical properties of these polymers. And for example, if the polymer has a molecular weight in the range of we can say if it is L31, then its molecular weight will be around 1100. If it is L35, then it is 1900. L45, as you can see over here, as the number is increasing, in the same proportionate manner, the molecular weight is increasing, and their pH is around 6.3 when they are used in an aqueous solution of 2.5%. Their cloud point is also different. For example, in a 10% aqueous solution, they have a cloud point. L31 has a 29, 35 has 80, 45, L45 has a value greater than, we can say greater than 100, L43 has a value greater than 28, and in the similar manner, the hydroxyl values is also different in the different moieties. You can see over here that the L31 has a higher amount of the hydroxyl moiety compared to the L61. As well as if we goes to that of the solubility guide, means solubility at 25 degrees Celsius at the room temperature in water, ethanol, kerosene, ethylene glycol, toluene, then they have the different behavior. For example, L31, L35, all from L31 to L61 are soluble in water as well as ethanol. Means they have the solubility in water, but they are insoluble or partially soluble in kerosene, as well as they are also soluble in toluene also. Means it indicates that they exhibit the solubility in aqueous as well as in non-aqueous, as they are soluble in toluene also as well as they are soluble in water. Means, however, L45 has the partial solubility in toluene. This indicates that their structure contains a suitable amount of hydrophilic groups as well as the hydrophobic groups, which facilitates their uniform solubility in organic solvents as well as into that of the polar solvents. And if now we discuss about the industrial applications of these systems, then they are commonly used in the drug delivery systems. In drug delivery systems, they are basically used to control the release of the drug, as well as they forms the solid forms in targeting of the drugs at the specific site in the body. Poloxamer 188 has been under investigation for the treatment of the circulatory pathologies, including, means, as we have said, that these are the functional excipients and they have shown certain activity, like they inhibit the thrombosis following the myocardial infarction. Since myocardial infarction is associated with that of the thrombosis, means there will be the formation of the clots into our circulate into our capillaries, and this will block the movement of the blood, and this slowing down can lead to that of the heart failure also. So they exhibit, means they inhibit the thrombosis formation after the myocardial infarction, as well as they have the capability, then because of their surface active properties, they can reduce the blood viscosity. They also improves the perfusion to the damaged tissues, as they are preventing the formation of the clots, means they are preventing the thrombosis formation. So they can be of great importance by improving the blood flow to that particular tissues or the damaged tissues or the or the organs. So they are widely under the study, and they are investigated for that of the clinical applications. And the poloxamer 188 has been found to have some cellular effects also, means they reduces the hemolysis during the cardiopulmonary bypass. When the cardiopulmonary bypass is done, then they are used to prevent the hemolysis, means the rupturing of the RBC cells or as well as the blood cells. And they also reduces the leakage of the fluorescent calcine from thermally and electrically damaged cells, means when there is a loading of the fluorescent calcine is done as a biomarker in order to study how the cell will behave, then in that case they also reduces the leakage, means they prevent the efflux of the these kind of the fluorescent dye towards the extracellular tissues or extracellular fluid, and then facilitates the uniform imaging of the organ or the cells, means those cells which have been damaged. So it is of great importance. And this poloxamer 407, that is another class, in aqueous solution of 20% is used for that of the post-surgical adhesions, means these are liquid at the room temperature, but at 0 to 10 degrees Celsius they forms a gel. At 0 to 10 degrees Celsius they are liquid, but at the body temperature, that is 37 degrees Celsius, they forms the gel-like structures. So they are used after the post-surgical adhesion, means after the surgery, when we require, means after surgery when stitches are done. So in order to improve the rate of recovery, or we can say in order to facilitate the closing of the open surface, these kind of the poloxamer 407 is used, and its solution is made at the lower temperature, and then it remains liquid, but it is when it is applied at the body surface, and as the body surface has a temperature of 37 degrees Celsius, then it will be working as a adhesive material, and it will facilitate the closing of the open wound. But it is only possible when the aqueous solution contain the concentration of poloxamer 407 above 20% or at 20%, means below 20%. If the amount of the poloxamer is less than 20%, then it will not form a uniform gel over the surface. So it is required that the concentration of the poloxamer 407 should be equal to or should be greater than 20%.